number 10, Armie Hammer. As more and more comes out against Armie Hammer, it's safe to say that his career is basically over. The actor shot to fame in his roles in Call Me By Your Name and The Social Network, but recently multiple women have come forward with disturbing allegations against Hammer, with many expressing that he had scary fetishes and many times he would take things way too far for the women. There were even allegations surfacing that he might be a The story got even darker last week when a woman came forward in a video press conference expressing that he forced himself on her for over 4 hours. Apparently during the incident he slammed her head into a wall and whipped her feet with a crop, with her stating that she did not consent to these actions. As a result of the first string of allegations, he stepped away from an upcoming film with Jennifer Lopez called Shotgun Wedding. And now with these most recent allegations, it seems that he could actually face serious jail time. And at number 9, Ralph Fiennes. After a backlash began mounting against writer J.K. Rowling, calling her transphobic, many actors in the Harry Potter franchise spoke out against Rowling and in support of trans people. However, actor Ralph Fiennes, who plays Voldemort in the film, stood by her, commenting in an interview, quote, "I can't understand the vitriol directed at her. I can understand the heat of an argument, but I find this age of accusation and the need to condemn irrational. I find the level of hatred that people express about views that differ from theirs and the violence of language towards others disturbing." Here it seems he wasn't supporting her statements, rather just condemning the reaction that came from her statements. However, many fans were saddened that the actor did not understand why many found her statements to be offensive. And at number 8, Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson is getting tons of backlash after she starred in the movie Music, directed by singer Sia. The film is about an autistic girl named Music, whom Hudson plays her older sister, and the film is being called an ableist film. The negative reaction against Hudson got even worse after it was announced that she was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for her performance in the movie. Tina Fey, the host of the 2021 Golden Globes, even made a comment against Hudson in her monologue, saying that Hudson's involvement in the film was the quote most offensive casting since Kate Hudson was a Weight Watchers spokesperson. Despite the backlash, Hudson still appeared on the telecast saying that she loved making the movie. Quote, "As an actress and a singer and a dancer, it's everything you'd want to experience," Hudson said. In at number 7, Maddie Ziegler. Dancer and now actress Maddie Ziegler got massive backlash after she decided to participate in the controversial Sia film called Music. In Music, Ziegler plays a nonverbal autistic teenager who comes under the care of her half-sister, played by Kate Hudson, after the death of her grandmother. When the trailer was released, it got immediate backlash from autism advocates, specifically for the fact that the lead role was not played by an autistic actor. Petitions sprung up on change.org to stop the release of the film, saying the film contributes to harmful stereotypes. Ziegler has not responded to the backlash and said she has chosen to not promote the film whatsoever and rather focus people's attention on her upcoming projects. However, it's going to be difficult for her to recover from such massive backlash. And at number 6, James Corden. James Corden is another actor who's getting backlash after he was nominated for Best Actor in a Comedy for The Prom at the 2021 Golden Globes. His casting in the film was criticized first and foremost because Corden is a straight man who played a gay character in the film, but now he's getting more backlash after the nomination because of his lackluster performance. Many are specifically calling him out for a stereotypical depiction of a gay man, with many others bringing up his past performance in the film Cats as well, saying he should have never acted again after that performance. Halfway at number 5, Lily Collins. Actress Lily Collins got in some backlash for being the lead character in one of the most hated TV shows this year, Emily in Paris. The show that was debuted on Netflix follows a 20-something-year-old Chicago woman who moves to Paris after she receives a surprising job opportunity. But the series was met with tons of criticism, critiquing the way that the city and its people are portrayed, as well as the cliches and stereotypes. And the reviews by both critics and viewers were harsh. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show received a 63% tomato meter scoring and a 59% audience rating, so not good obviously. And a lot of the criticism fell to Collins. She responded to the criticism in an interview with Vogue Arabia, where she said that the criticism is disheartening, but she sees it as a way to improve. She also hopes to evolve the narrative in the second season. Am I the only one? I really don't understand the hate towards the show. I mean, it's not a great show, but like, I don't feel we need to hate on it. It was kind of cute. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And at number 4, Gina Carano. Gina Carano was publicly fired after she shared a controversial Instagram story where she compared being conservative now to being Jewish in the Second World War. The post was an attempt to compare the events of the Second World War to so-called cancel culture. Carano ended up taking the picture down, but the backlash had already begun. She was quickly fired from The Mandalorian and the Star Wars universe, as well as being dropped by her agency, UTA. After the firing, many critiqued the decision and claimed this was proof of an anti-conservative bias in Hollywood. However, given her frequent controversial posts, this seemed to be the last straw, and it seems that her days in Hollywood might be over. And at number 3, Tom Cruise. Late last year, a leaked audio recording showed Tom Cruise screaming at the top of his lungs on the set of the latest Mission Impossible movie. The yelling was because he witnessed a breach in COVID protocol by set members, and he was doing everything in his power to not have another filming delay that would increase production costs. Some of the yelling said, quote, "We are creating thousands of jobs. I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired." The response to the clip has been mixed, with some saying that the yelling was warranted and it was all in the name of safety. However, others felt that yelling to the degree that he was inexcusable and bordered on a toxic and harmful work environment. And at number 2, Sharon Osbourne. The controversial actress and TV host was called out for her stance in support of Piers Morgan after he made some nasty remarks towards Meghan Markle. The viral moment took place on the show The Talk when Osbourne was confronted about why she chose to support Morgan during his exit from Good Morning Britain. During the exchange, people felt she was insensitive towards her black co-host, Cheryl Underwood. As a result of the touchy moment, the show has gone on hiatus, with Osbourne looking into why she was put on the chopping block, as well as network executives looking into allegations that Osbourne had made insensitive comments toward co-hosts in the past. As well, actress Leah Remini has stated that Osbourne got her fired from that show, and many are thinking this could lead to her departing the show for good. And at number 1, Justin Timberlake. After the Framing Britney Spears documentary came out, Britney's fans started to realize just how horrible Justin had treated her. Some of these clips include him speaking about their intimate relationship on late night talk shows, when that was something that she was keeping hidden at the time, as well as the fact that he used a Britney look-alike in the Cry Me a River music video after the breakup, which made everyone think that she had cheated. All this brought up past criticisms of Timberlake for his handling of the infamous Janet Jackson incident, which made her look way worse than him. In response to all the backlash, he posted a lengthy apology to Instagram. However, many felt that the apology was too little too late, and was only made because he was being called out, not because he actually meant it. And since this controversy unearthed many terrible things about Timberlake, it could be too much for fans to forgive.
Coming in at 10, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid has had a truly bizarre life that deserves to be turned into a movie. In September 2009, Academy Award nominee Quaid and his wife Evie were arrested for not paying a $10,000 hotel bill. Following the incident, they were arrested again for squatting in a home they used to own. So what did they do? They skipped town and headed north to Canada. However, if you think that's weird, it got much weirder. Everyone assumed Quaid fled from the law, but he claimed they fled to avoid the Hollywood-style whackers, a secret organization that took celebrities out or manufactured scandals to discredit them. In an interview with the Vancouver Press, Quaid talked about the mysteries behind the organization, claiming that Heath Ledger, David Carradine, and Chris Penn were the group's latest victims. Since then, Quaid was arrested once again and released back in 2015. In February of 2017, Quaid posted a video on Twitter which showed him displaying a full mounted man beard, pretending to get it on with his wife while she was wearing a Rupert Murdoch mask. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. Coming in at 9, Wesley Snipes. Snipes was a major player back in the day, starring in films like White Men Can't Jump, Julie Newmar, and of course the Blade trilogy. Things were looking pretty good for Snipes until he failed to pay his taxes. Yeah, that's a big no-no. Usually if you're a Hollywood icon, you pay back your taxes plus some fines. However, not Snipes. No. His tax offenses were so bad that he went to jail, serving a year in the slammer for each year he failed to pay, which was 3. On top of that, he had to pay back $17 million in taxes and penalties, which completely put a stop on his thriving career. Lesson number 1, pay your taxes, people. Coming in at 8, Paul Reubens. We all remember the bow-tied man-child Pee Wee Herman, right? The one that coined the phrase, "I know you are, but what am I?" I think anyway, don't quote me on that. Regardless, Paul Reubens became a fan favorite back in the 80s and into the 90s. However, this all changed drastically for him overnight when he was arrested in Florida for indecent exposure at an adult movie theater, with sheriffs claiming they spotted him masturbating during the film. The actor was 38 at the time and pleaded no contest, agreeing to take part in an anti-drug campaign to avoid trial. He attempted to come back, but that also blew up in his face when more charges were brought against him, this time related to child pornography. Officers seized thousands of items, including a Rob Lowe sex tape that was in his collection. It took a decade before he was welcomed back into the public eye, which he did surprisingly well, starring in the Netflix film Pee-wee's Big Holiday. What do you guys think? Do you think he deserved a second chance? I don't. Coming in at 7, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is a name most of us forgot about, and seemingly so did Hollywood. You won't find this actor appearing in much of anything anymore, at least nothing of merit. Fraser shot to fame when he appeared as Rick O'Connell in the Mummy trilogy, a series which came to define him as an actor. He struck gold again in 2008 when he landed the leading role in the 3D fantasy Journey to the Center of the Earth, a worldwide box office success that made $242 million. However, things quickly went downhill for the actor when he made the very poor decision to turn down the role in the sequel, which ultimately went to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, with the film going on to surpass the original, raking in $335 million. His poor decision seemed to draw the end of his career. I'm sure he's having major regrets these days. Coming in at 6, Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey was an 80s darling, starring in films like Dirty Dancing and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. However, she quickly vanished from the spotlight and failed to book any major roles following her success. Why was this? Well, if you didn't know, Grey was known for her nose, but as her career began to grow in the 90s, she got a nose job, which left her looking completely different, made casting her that much harder because people simply didn't recognize her. Grey once said, I quote, "It was the nose job from hell. I'll always be this once famous actress nobody recognizes because of a nose job." Coming in at 5, Rob Lowe. As mentioned in our number 8 point, St. Elmo's Fire star Rob Lowe had a sex tape. That's right, it was the first video of a celebrity having sex to be copied and sold at large around the world. But to make things worse, the video was of him having sex with a 16-year-old girl, which resulted in his career taking a serious nosedive. According to reports, Lowe was in Atlanta at the 1988 Democratic Convention when he took home 2 girls after meeting them in a nightclub, unaware that one was just 16 years old. However, the actor escaped prosecution as the legal age of consent in Georgia is just 16. He took yet another blow though when a second clip was leaked showing him and a friend having sex with a woman at the same time. However, it didn't seem to negatively affect the actor too much as he went on to star in Wayne's World and Parks and Recreation. Lucky for some, I guess. Coming in at 4, Michael Richards. Seinfeld is considered to be one of the greatest television shows of all time. To most people, that is. Not me. I didn't like it. Michael Richards, of course, was one of the stars of the show. However, his long-running career was quickly met by a brick wall when he did a live show in 2006 that resulted in him engaging in a battle of wits with a member of the audience. In a split-second decision, he destroyed his entire career by responding to the man with a series of racial slurs, demanding that the African-American customer be thrown out. A video surfaced of the incident which showed Richards stop midway through his show and tell the audience member, I quote, "50 years ago they'd have you hanging upside down with a f***ing fork up your ass." The audience was of course just as shocked as we were, and the comedian left the stage without finishing his routine. Since then he has made a handful of small appearances, but he has been unable to land any major roles in the industry. Coming in at 3, Mark Salling. Glee's Noah Puckerman was a fan favourite among viewers back in the day, but that all came quickly crumbling away from the actor when he was arrested in LA in December 2015 for charges related to pornography. According to investigators, they found a laptop, USB drive, and a hard drive filled with thousands of pictures and videos of pornography. The actor was set to star in the miniseries Adi Shankar's Gods and Secrets, but was very quickly dropped when news broke, with the producer saying in a statement, I quote, "The innocence of our planet's children is something that must be protected at all costs." Salling eventually agreed to a plea deal. However, before his sentencing, he hanged himself in a canyon near his LA home and was found dead on January 30th, 2018. Coming in at 2, Kevin Spacey. Oh, Kevin Spacey. Yet another person on our list that has become a Hollywood disgrace after reports of sexual misconduct and assault were brought against him. In October 2017, actor Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of making sexual advances towards him. Rapp was just 15 years old at the time. Once this surfaced, many other men came forward with similar stories, all of which accused Spacey of harassment and assault. In 2018, Spacey was charged with indecent assault and battery against an 18-year-old boy, and he was ultimately arrested. At the time, Kevin Spacey was starring in the film All the Money in the World. However, when these allegations came to light, his scenes were entirely reshot with the actor Christopher Plummer in his place. F*** you, Kevin Spacey. Oh, and on top of that, he used being gay as an excuse. You, Kevin Spacey. And finally in at number 1, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was a legend back in the day, starring in the mega hit TV series The Cosby Show. However, the facade all came crashing down when several assault allegations against the star became public, with the allegations spanning from the 1960s to the early 2000s. Although most of the cases fell outside of the statute of limitations, several lawsuits were filed against the actor, drawing the end of his prolific career. 25 colleges and universities rescinded Cosby's honorary degrees, and Walt Disney removed a statue of him from their Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame Plaza. All episodes of The Cosby Show were pulled and clips were removed from TV Land's website. Even his talent agency ditched him, deservedly deservedly so. This guy is an utter and doesn't deserve any more attention than that. Coming in at 9, Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey was a household name in the 80s, quickly earning her the title of 80s darling following her performances in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Dirty Dancing. However, we no longer hear about Jennifer Grey, the actress that was predicted to rise to fame like her co-stars Matthew Broderick and Patrick Swayze. So what exactly happened? Well, one potential reason is because Grey has become completely unrecognizable since the days of her playing Bueller's sister. Back in the 80s, Grey was known for her nose. It was somewhat of a hot commodity, her trademark if you will. Well, her career quickly grinded to a halt in the early 90s when Grey got a nose job, opting for a smaller look to her original one. Grey once even stated, "It was the nose job from hell. I'll always be this once famous actress nobody recognizes because of a nose job." Yikes. In at 7, Lindsay Lohan. Of course, who could forget Lohan's fall from grace following her huge hit Mean Girls, released back in 2004, as well as Freaky Friday and Herbie Fully Loaded. It seemed as though all the cards were in her favor until Lohan was taken to hospital on May 26, 2007 after getting into a car accident. She had only just been discharged from the Wonderland Center rehab facility for undisclosed problems before Lohan was facing charges for a DUI, possession of and a misdemeanor hit and run following the accident. Now, if this didn't cement her downward spiral, she was arrested on the exact same charges just 2 months later. And yet again, only days after exiting rehab. Now you might think that's the end of it, but oh no. Lohan continued acting for a short while, even starring in I Know Who Killed Me, where she played opposite herself in the 2 main roles, earning her the Worst Screen Couple Award at the 2008 Golden Raspberries, as well as the Worst Actress. You won't find Lohan in any films now, however she is the executive producer of her own reality show called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club, which airs on MTV. You should check it out. In at 5, Charlie Sheen. Sheen was at one time the highest paid actor in Hollywood, however with such power comes a lot of pressure, with the actor turning to drugs and stupidity, destroying his own career in seconds. His demise came when he was first fired from TV shows for reasons related to drug addictions and anti-Semitic comments. He took his stupidity to a whole new level though when he began to verbally attack Chuck Lorre, the man who gave Sheen his career. Not only that, but Sheen went on to tell the media that he was a warlock and that he had tiger blood. He then began to upload videos to the internet of him smoking weed and cursing his employers, also stating that he was a rock star from Mars. Following on from his meltdown, he revealed that he had HIV and, knowing this fact, had sexual relations with around 200 partners. In at 4, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson seems to have had a slew of scandals over his long career. Shockingly though, it wasn't his DUI arrest that made Hollywood want to turn their back on the Braveheart star. It was actually the conversation he had with the police officer while in the back of the car. After refusing arrest and attempting to flee the scene, Gibson was eventually cuffed and detained. Oh boy, I bet he regrets the things he said following this. While in the back of the car, he repeatedly threatened the police officer, stating that he owned Malibu and would spend every cent he had on getting even. According to the transcript obtained by the LA Times, Gibson blurted out, I quote, a barrage of anti-Semitic remarks about Jews, yelling, I quote again, the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. Are you a Jew? Oh boy. However, Gibson is refusing to face the act and continues to make movies, usually ones he's directed, including the likes of Hacksaw Ridge, which was received well by critics, even getting a 10-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, as well as earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Director. Coming in at number 3, Judy Garland. Now, I should state right off the bat that Garland had a truly difficult life, particularly during her younger years during the making of The Wizard of Oz. Garland coped for more than 40 years, however in the 1940s her iconic performances and stellar portrayals transformed into temper tantrums, resulting in her getting fired from shows for a handful of reasons, including being a no-show. She eventually wound up bankrupt after years of drug abuse, alcoholism and failed marriages. Just after her 47th birthday, Garland died from an accidental overdose of prescribed medicines. However, as I said before, Garland was doomed to fail before she even started, being prescribed a number of different medications when she was just 15 years old on the set of Wizard of Oz. Not only that, but the treatment she faced on that set was truly abysmal. Coming in at number 2, Amanda Bynes. During her young years, Amanda Bynes was a rising star, even headlining her own series, The Amanda Show, and starring in films like She's the Man and Easy A. However, like many child stars before her, Bynes ran afoul with drugs and alcohol, but what really cemented her fall from grace was her Twitter meltdown following her arrest. The meltdown occurred in 2012, with tweets such as claiming she wanted Drake to murder her vagina, as well as tweeting Rihanna taunting that, I quote, "Chris Brown beat you because you're not pretty enough." She went on to call Miley Cyrus and Jay-Z ugly and berated herself for the same thing, but off of Twitter she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and placed twice in a psychiatric facility following an incident where she set her neighbor's driveway on fire. However, years later, Bynes had seemingly reformed, heading towards a career in the fashion industry and stating that she no longer had any interest in acting. However, that all went out the window in 2017 when she stated that she was ready to come back.